by Belquist, and he does an inverted twist. Is he in? He is. Touchdown, Bo Belquist, and that could be your Tiger. Simon Rumfo has it. Simon inside the 5. Sis boom ball. Simon Rumfo, his second touchdown today.
UND Football 360.
Isaiah trying to get outside, a stiff arm, shuts him down, 20, inside the 15, down to the 13-yard line. Oh, that right arm, that stiff arm, and the book of Isaiah has given North Dakota a first down.
Analysis, commentary, news, and a look ahead. It's all things UND football. This is the UND Football 360 podcast with your hosts Kelly Howe, Matt Nelson, and Dave McNamara.
Well, it was a game last week that had us all scratching our head there for a little bit, but UND was able to put more than a few points on the board. They pick up a big win, and it's on to the Bison week. And guys, we were hoping it'd be 4-1 when we got to this point, and by golly, that's where we're at. Any surprises right now?
No surprise. Well, Montana, you go to that, but as it turned out, we wanted 4-1. Yeah, and we lost. I think after Iowa State, everything changed. Guys, it changed. All the expectations changed. So, suddenly these guys can do some things. So no, it was good. 4-1. We knew in the 4 in a row, and you could win 3 of them. We knew that. Had to get Montana. Well, but the nice thing is Montana came first. So it was the inspiration, you want to call it, all of a sudden, hey, we believe we're good. Well, then the next 3, no problem. All 2 blowouts, and San Diego gave us a little pause, but yeah, I mean, they're right where they want to be. All the goals are ahead of them. I think most UND fans would have predicted 3-2 at this point.
And been happy with it, right?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Would have predicted 3-2, but now, now it's 4-1, and it's a 12-game season. You got to remember that. So yeah, you were looking at 7 minimum, and you're hoping 8 should get you in. So yeah, there's a chance. This is it's exciting times around Grand Forks, you can tell.
What surprised you, Matt, coming off of there? We had a few question marks, especially on offense. What sticks out to you this early in the season?
Well, it seems like we've right away in the beginning of the first quarter, we do have some trouble trying to get going, either on offense or defense. So I think those are lessons learned. I'm grateful that we've had some of the games that we've had, Idaho and Murray and San Diego, where, they weren't the Montana. Luckily, we came away with a win against Montana, top 5 team in the country. And then we're able to reset and learn some things about our team and how we respond to adversity. So hopefully some of those lessons have been learned in some of these other teams in our home series where, I was surprised that we kept on setting ourselves. We're our own worst enemy, really. And then once we decided that okay, now it's time to play football, we were pretty much unstoppable in some of these games. So a little bit of surprise that we had the same issue in those 3 home games in that stretch, but I'm pleasantly surprised. I think we have a lot of foundation to build on for the rest of the season.
In-game adjustments seem to be great, whether it's scheme-wise or just lighting a fire under a guy, right? I mean, they are getting to these guys when things maybe don't look pretty all the time, and that's something we haven't always seen out of UND football at times.
No, it would last too long. Like we'd be into the third, 4th quarter, and we'd be like, are we going to make our adjustments here? We're sitting here like, everyone's kind of looking at each other. Well, now the adjustments are coming, start of the second quarter, end of the first, you can see a little change, but I think, we'll get to the, full preview, but last week they made them quit. They figured it out. It wasn't going well defensively, but offensively, Isaac Fruechte, offensive coordinator, he seems to get a feel quick. He knows what he wants to do. So I think he sits and watches for, let's say, 2 or 3 series, and he runs this stuff, and then he sees what they're going to do. And then when Romfo looks over every time and kind of pauses and then yells at the line, well, that's when the adjustments are coming. So you're seeing it in the second quarter where he's getting a feel, okay, here's what they're doing versus this, here's what they're doing versus this. okay. And then he's standing there and he's telling his red hat, blue hat, yellow hat, green hat, all those guys down there doing their deals with the signals. He's telling them then, accordingly. And it seems to be working because guys like Bo Belquist are running down the field one-on-one, isolated and open.
I know last week was a conference game, but still Murray State doesn't feel like it, right? It didn't have that vibe. So let's just say that was our non-conference part of the schedule.
Yeah.
Who are your MVPs?
I
mean, that's a tough call because every week it seems like someone else has been stacking up, but who's showing you guys the most consistency?
Of the first few games.
Yeah. It's 5 games in. Where are we at?
I would say on defense, I would have to say Josh Navertil.
That's the name that came to my mind.
Just because he has not only made the most progression since last year, but he's a senior. He's leading our defense. The outside linebacker position is instrumental in that 3-4 defense that we run. And then offense, I would say it would have to be Bo Belquist, just stepping up, leading those other wide receivers. He's everything that our team is looking to for leadership on offense. So I think those are my 2 picks. I don't know if you agree, Kelly, but
I was Bo came to mind. I mean, a feel-good pick would be the offensive line.
Yeah.
You could just say offensive line across the board because it's a unit.
And then there's gonna be
they all play.
There's gonna be a table right
yeah,
next
it's,
to you here in the right. So we're gonna.
offensive line, let's go. And
There we go.
Wyatt Pettigo came to mind, just the energy, the intensity, just every play of Pettigo. You see him out there, I mean, he's got the tucked up jersey now, showing the belly, and he's just like, I mean, that exudes confidence is what I'm saying, I don't care, I laugh at it, but, every play is on. It's like he is flying around and he's looking for work. He's out there, and I tell my kid that, he's in high school, I'm like, you're sitting out there a corner, you're not gonna get a lot of work. I go, look for work, find some work. Wyatt Pettigo looking for work, an inside linebacker, every play, pass, run. He's just an insane run all over. So I would put him up there. Yeah, there's a few guys you could point to. Navertil, Pettigo, obviously the leaders. Yeah.
Surprised by how many points this offense has been able to score this year.
Very
especially last game.
Last week, but I mean, overall, this offense knows how to get things done.
He's getting in the end zone. I mean, they've kicked some field goals and they made them. I think we missed 1 or 2 this year, but Elric is better at kicking field goals, but he's getting in the end zone. He's not putting his kickers in bad positions. We're not, disappointed driving down and then having to settle. It's like we're getting in, and it's, I don't know. I think he's got a feel for what his offense can do. He's a smart guy. He's a coach's kid. His dad, I think, was in 10 championships at Caledonia in Minnesota high school. And he just has it, and it's going to get tougher. Now, let's take a step back. Everyone step back. It's going to get tougher here. He's going to get shut down. We're going to get in the red zone. We're going to have to settle for field goals because we're facing NDSU, South Dakota State. They'll figure it out. They'll start to scheme us up a little bit. But that's where he's smart. Okay. Will he then adjust again, Matt?
Right. And I don't know if we've seen all the tricks in his bag yet either, because it's been pretty vanilla. I mean, it's been just pretty much
compared to the last few years under Danny.
Well, and I'm not ragging on Danny at all. I mean, he got us where we are at this year too. But I don't think we've seen everything that ISSAC FRUECHTE has in store for our offense. I think it's been pretty much straight up football. We're going to run, we're going to pound the pigskin, and we're going to run it right at you. And that's the confidence I think he has in that some of those offensive linemen and in our running backs to be able to get the job done, establish the run early. And we haven't seen really any wrinkle. I don't think we've had one trick play wrinkle or anything like that.
Not really.
I mean, it's been pretty much straight up football, and we're doing a good job. We beat Montana with that philosophy. So I think coming into conference play, where if we are just capitalizing on straightforward football and we're beating guys one-on-one, that's where we want to be. And then we have all those other tricks in the bag if we need them.
I think another word that comes to mind is disciplined football. We haven't seen a lot of 2nd and 20s, 1st and 20s, 3rd and 15s. I'm happy with that because How many times do you see just that penalty that just, and then it seems like it drags on for a couple drives. It just sucks the life out of your offense or defense and
on schedule.
And both sides of the ball. It's been pretty clean football.
Yeah, well, that's the key is to this offense. If you want to run up the middle, you want to get, like Bobby Howe said, 4 times 3, 3 times 4 equals 12, whatever. And if you want to do that, you got to be on schedule. On schedule. 2nd and 20 for some offenses in the country is a death sentence. They're just done. They're not going to do anything. That's not this offense, but it would put us, it takes out the inside zone game. That's gone. It takes away everything. So yeah, I mean, I looked it up. What are we, 38 yards a game penalties or something like that? We're in the top echelon, top 20, or we have top 25 of
there was one game we got a little, was it 2 weeks ago? We had 8 penalties.
We had
or was
some
it?
Yeah, 3 weeks ago. I think the
15.
last 2 games, so we've actually been able to beat the other team. So Murray State and Idaho, or San Diego, we were on the positive end. They had more penalties than we did. Obviously, we're at the Lair Center. Some of those could be chalked up to the 12th man syndrome there, but we've been able to beat the other team in penalty yards. So I think if we continue that, keep staying disciplined, I think that's going to keep on giving us some momentum and not shooting ourselves in the foot when it comes down to
And it's the
close
same
games.
defensively too. It's the same thing where, this goes for every defense, but 3rd and 3, we're not good defense. 3rd and 2, we're not a good defense. That's every defense. You got to stay. You can't give them 5 yards. You can't, you know what I mean? That type of thing. 3, 5 yards. All of a sudden it's 1st and 5. Well, there's a first. I mean, we're not going to stop 3 times at 5 yards. Things like that. So we're not giving away. We're not jumping off sides. Stupid penalties like that. This team's pretty. It's a different unit. I know. I brought it up when I discussing with the defense coordinator Joel SCHWENZFEIER. Said, this feels different. Like we talk about it every week. It just feels different. The vibe. He goes, oh, we could tell that as soon as camp started. He goes, when camp started, we knew something was different. We could tell with this unit. They got along great, and they got along in the past. But he goes, now it's like a jovial kind of a thing. There's just confidence and happy energy type of thing. We keep bringing that up. Energy, right?
One thing that's changed, I think, is our strength and conditioning in the summer leading up to the fall camp, where that's where our discipline is established right before the season. And when you're working hard and when there's nothing, you're not out on the field, you're lifting weights with the guys. That's where the camaraderie is built when you're in Grand Forks all summer.
When you're in the suck, right?
Yeah, right.
I mean, pushing each other through. No one wants.
That's where you
there,
come together as a team, and I think that's when you develop that mental toughness and that discipline and all of those different things that a strength coach and conditioning coach brings to the table. There's been a change there, and I think that has been maybe some of those little differences that we're seeing on the field.
Heck, it goes back to the Interstate Foundation, helping these guys be in summer school, learn how to do it right away when they get here. Hey, we want to thank our sponsors. We're going to do this in reverse order because usually our top sponsor is listed right away, but I have a feeling we should save that one for last. So we'll start at the bottom with this guy named Tank McNamara, American Solutions for Business. Speaking of which, the new can coolers, can koozies,
Where are they at?
Oh yeah.
We've got those here, and we'll tell you how we're gonna hand those out. But
koozies are in.
I heard,
and we got a lot of them.
They keep your beverages extra cold.
Oh, they're good ones, high quality.
And so our issue is our beverages never get warm because we never allow the time to get there. But Can Koozie will help you out there. So any of your promo apparel needs, American Solutions for Business, Tank McNamara, Interstate Industrial, steam cleaning and painting in the Bakken oil fields, Marty Shaide. Do you think that guy's energy is running a little bit harder this week? He's a diehard, and
Marty has energy. He exudes energy, and a lot of energy for UND.
Yeah, the 1883 collective, the NIL arm for UND athletics. And I tell you what, if we can pick up a win this week, let's all get our checkbooks out and throw $20, $50, $100 their way. That is the NIL arm again for UND athletics, which helps pay these guys now. And it's the new world we're living in. The Toasted Frog, fine dining in downtown Grand Forks and Fargo. Great places to stop at. Yeah, make it a pre and post game destination in Fargo this week. And wear your green downtown Fargo. What a great place to
Kelly Green.
Yeah, the right green. Yeah.
Classy green.
Kelly Howe Agency, Nodak Insurance. Are you giving free quotes again this week? Yeah.
This week only.
This week only. We'll use that line every week. This week only. Free quotes, get them done now. Development Home Inc.'s gaming, simulcast, horse racing, Pulltabs, Blackjack, the pig wheel, and wow, look at this, $1,000 bingo giveaway. That's every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and no minimum amount of people.
Yeah,
that's a game I think I could probably win.
$1,000 bingo giveaway. Hey, that's good. That's good stuff. Bingo's fun. I like bingo.
I bring my wife.
I'm a horrible blackjack player because you got to pay attention. You
always got a shot in bingo.
You got to do a bunch of math and stuff like that. But bingo, you can just show up and pay attention, and you can win.
Yeah, thank all of our sponsors. They're all great people, but we got to thank our main sponsor because you might hear it sounds a little different today if you're listening, but we are on the road with this podcast. Is this the first remote location?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
First remote we've ever done. We should have done a hell of a lot more than we did, but yeah, I mean, it was just came up. I think we started talking about it. I think a while back we talked about it. We're like, Billy'd love to have us up. So, and he's been a great supporter. He's been a long time supporter of this show. And so, yeah, we want to get up here and we just got done with our grinders and chips and we got our beers in front of us.
I could take a bath in them. I mean, they're huge.
They're big.
And
they are huge.
I love them. I said on Twitter, I love this place because the cold beer and it didn't fail. So yeah, we're Rumors Sports Bar Grill and Casino, our main show sponsor. Bill has been part of this show pretty much since day one. We want to thank him, and we're also bringing him on the air. And wow, we had the grinders and the beer, and we're talking football. This is the place to be.
None of that good food is because of me, but I appreciate you being here and appreciate your words and stuff. Yeah, so I appreciate. Thank you very much.
Oh, you've been a long time sponsor, Billy, and I know we hit you. Geez, what year was that? I want to say 2016, 17.
Yeah, probably was
somewhere in there. Craig Riondo.
Craig got me in the parking lot on the way to
tailgate. You're drinking already?
No, we weren't even out of the vehicle. We were driving, and all of a sudden he's waving me down. I'm like, what's up, Greg? I want to talk to you about something. And we talked, and I said, we talked about it, and yeah, it worked out well.
Right? Yeah, we had Craig started us in 2010 or 11, somewhere in there. I can't even remember. It's been a long time, but yeah, we just thought, well, geez, let's start to take to the next level, get a sponsor, make it a little more legitimate, stuff like that. And he thought of you right away. So first thing, the bus, Billy. I want to talk about the bus. People, we utilize. I mean, it's a popular option, but we need to make sure everybody knows about it. That's why I wanted to make sure. Okay, what's it cost to park at the Alara Center, Bill?
I believe it's $15.
Okay, $15. All right, whatever. I'm ready. Alara Center. Don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at me, Alara Center. I get it. All right, times are tough. Okay. Hey, rates and insurance went up too. I get yelled at Rudy. I get told about it, so I get it. All right. But here's the thing. How much does it cost to ride your bus from Rumor?
$5.
Okay, what do you get with that?
You get a free drink upon return.
There we go. Free drink. So you get a free drink, costs $5, and where do they drop you off?
Front door and front door.
There we go.
Can I buy 4 tickets?
Basically money ahead.
All I'll say about that, I mean, honestly, if you're not gonna tailgate, it's take anybody's bus. I don't care to take ours where, but I mean, for $5.
Yeah.
And I mean, the buses get out of there quicker than all the cars do. So you're not only, you get in there quicker, you get out there quicker, and you're saving $10 a head and you get a free drink. So it's basically, you come back in and use your tickets, you're not paying to ride the bus. It's everything's on the house.
Great, yeah, it's one of the benefits of it. So, all right, we're gonna talk about we addressed the bingo on the way in. What are the other draws with the DHI gaming?
DHI, I mean, they have now, as every bar has in the state, the e-tab machines. Those are
that's getting too easy, Billy.
Those are
too easy to spend money.
I would like to thank the Attorney General of North Dakota for not allowing me to play those machines in my own bar.
Oh yeah, that's illegal, isn't it?
If your name's on the liquor license, you can't gamble in your own bar, and I really love them for that. Or whoever came up with that law. I mean, I could bet the horses, but that's it. And that's simulcasting, but yeah, no blackjack, no pulltabs, no bingo, and none of those e-tabs.
Yeah, but yeah, I was in here the other, what was it, draft weekend, we were in here, and the horse racing, oh, you're it, right?
Yeah, horse racing is the only one in town.
Yep.
And, some days like slower, weekends pick up a little, but like Kentucky Derby for Saturday in May, that's our biggest day of the year in the bar. So, it's races at 5:30, and honestly, if you're not here by 11:30, you're probably not gonna get a table, so.
11:30.
Yeah, it's with the girls, the servers and the bartenders, they get it's a full day for them, but it's a good day.
Yeah.
We have some other horse racing things like Breeders' Cups here in a month and things like that, but that's the main day. But it's, there's folks that come in and play on the weekends, and there's a few that, there are some groups that come in, just a lot of guys that throw, 5 guys that throw $20 in and we just drag the money and go back, so.
Well, that's what we did. I think we're drawing $80-100 a race. We're combining our money and just making up numbers and exactas, and was that time we were here for 7 hours, I think, almost. So it was like, yeah, I had a good time.
I like that.
Yeah. Or like, so, but all right, hey, let's transition to why we're here, Billy. What do you UND football this year? Give us your initial impression.
You're asking the basic guy. I love it. I mean, I think what you guys said is, I mean, from not knowing what you guys know, I agree. Less bad penalties, a little less mental mistakes, and Coach Frichte and both coaches, coordinators seem to make adjustments on the fly. And I mean, let's say Danny did too. I mean, everyone did, but it just seems like, and that Montana second half, I mean, I don't think there was a lot of optimism. I'm sorry, we're playing the third-ranked team in the country, and we're down 24-7, and things aren't going real peachy, but somebody said something, and we just dominated the second half, and now we move on to the 3 games we should have won. I think everybody thought we would, like you guys said, and it's a lot of fun. It's just, we enjoy tailgating, going out there, going to the games, and it's just, the atmosphere is good, and more people are starting to go all the time, and we just think, folks, the end of the year when South Dakota State and South Dakota are here, and it's cold out, and you're doing whatever, go to the games. The number 1 and 3 teams in the country right now. If we win one of those or both, but we win one, we're in.
Have 3 top 5 teams in the Alara Center of Montana.
Yeah. In the Alara. So, and then we go to the guys down south Saturday.
Right.
Yeah, well, as much as I'm saying.
How about, okay, speaking of which, how'd you feel last year, Billy? After that game, how are things here?
They were crazy, but I said that week, if UND wins that game, I'm staying up till 2 in the morning. I was in my chair at 8:30 at night, just exhausted from whatever. Sporting wise, that's a top 5 day I've ever had of enjoyment in my life. There's people in the 4th quarter out in the concourse, they're hugging each other. People don't even know each other. People are just grabbing people. It was so fun, and I mean, look, I'm not going to sit here and say anything I shouldn't say, because they got a lot of national championships down there, but for that one day, that one afternoon, it was so fun.
Oh,
it was so fun.
The end zone was bonkers, the catwalk up there, and those people, those were the
I didn't want to leave, and then I come in here like I said afterwards, I said, I gotta go.
Emotionally exhausted.
Yeah, I'm such a big baby. I think I've watched Luke Stokes kickoff return 45-59. I watched it Sunday twice, just as a reminder, because I was grabbing my buddies going, did that actually just happen? So.
Oh, I've never, now, it's louder. I was down on the field, and it's louder in the stands, I believe. If I recall the 2, down on the field, it's not the same. It's kind of goofy. You don't hear but it was the loudest I've ever heard when I've been down on the field, when he broke that kickoff. I can't imagine what it was up in the seats.
It was not, it was insane. And that, it's just, it's India's, well, I just said it, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's those, but, everyone stands up for third down. I never sat down that entire game. Last year's game, I never sat down because you weren't allowed to, the only way if you want to sit down, you're not going to see the play. The whole place stood the whole time.
Well, that's the thing about standing is if somebody does it, it kind of forces the other people to do it. Well, then all you force each other. Else you're not going to see the play.
Nobody was yelling, sit down, or anything. And I mean, well, I'm 5'0". I had to stand to have any hold. So,
all right, big game this weekend, Billy. Both teams 4-1.
Prediction.
What are we thinking?
31-27, good guys.
All right, we'll write that down.
It's actually in the ballpark.
31-27.
I mean, hey, I'm not
over the total.
Yeah, I mean, I would think so. I'm not gonna sit there and go disparaging on them and saying, "Oh, it's gonna be like last." I mean, their program speaks for itself, but our program is here now, and I think we're gonna go get through that first quarter and stay in the game, and we're gonna pull it out at the end.
All right, well, that's the biggest thing. Get through that first quarter.
Yeah.
We've had trouble down there coming out, tight, what's, and not really ever loosening up, and everyone playing a step slow, that type of thing. But I don't know.
And
This
maybe
year different.
I hope last year's win should lead to some confidence down there. I would think.
Yeah, I would hope so. That's what I was trying to touch on this week when I was talking to people. I was like, okay, did they practice a little looser this year? I mean, maybe do they feel a little more confident coming into the week? Whereas, last year, the intensity was up, man.
Stress
But
though.
yeah,
After that previous game, the stress level was at an 11 the whole week. Until the game, until Skokona's kickoff, and I'm like, hey, all right, then we might have this thing.
And I mean, I don't think your counterparts at NDSU doing their show. I don't think with their little prediction hurt anything. And
you like how I broke that down for everyone?
Well,
I listened to the whole thing and I had a notepad.
yeah, come on, make it
And
sound
every
like,
statement I had paused,
make
wrote it down.
Don't make it sound like there's no chance.
Well,
That's what
There was
you could
no
predict. You could predict your team that you support to win, and I understand that. But don't make it sound like there's no chance. Because there was, obviously there was UND had a good team, and there was a chance.
I don't know what I'm supposed to be worried about here. I'm watching them, I'm looking at the stats. I mean, I just don't know what we're supposed to be afraid of. 49 points. It's like, that's why we don't go that far on our show. We try to, we'll get a little outlandish every once in a while. We don't get outlandish against good teams.
Right.
I mean, if we're playing bad teams, we'll be like, like Murray last week. Well, they outperformed my expectations offensively, but we try to keep it within moderation. We don't talk like that, but.
Well, Billy, thanks so much for having us, and you are a true sponsor. We appreciate it, and we ask all of our listeners, when you're in Grand Forks, make sure Rumors is your headquarters, because they're going to treat you first class, and there's always something fun to do here.
Well, thanks, Tank, and yeah, we appreciate you guys being here. And I got a great staff. I don't do much except try and get out of their way. So, but thank you guys for being here. Appreciate it.
Hey, you got to know your role. So
Yeah.
yeah, we appreciate it. And don't forget about the express lunch. I mean, we went with the grinder, which was wow,
Awesome.
unbelievable. And you can get a classic cheeseburger with fries, 2 beef soft shell tacos with chips and salsa, the chicken strips with fries, French dip with fries, crispy chicken salad, all $7. I mean, where can you buy lunch for $7? And then let's not lie here. These beers are, what are they, the 32-ounce mugs here?
Something.
So make Rumors Sports Bar your home for UND football, because Billy is a great supporter and a great guy. When you get to know him, you want to meet Bill when you come in here. So let's look ahead. The Kelly Howe Agency game review, again, free quotes all this week at Nodak Insurance, Kelly Howe Agency. But guys, I'm not gonna lie, 72-35. I didn't really see that coming in the first 8, 9, 10 minutes of the ball game, or I suppose first 8 minutes. It took us a while to get settled in, and was it scheme wise, or were we not ready to play defensively? What do you put your finger on?
Well, defensively it was scheme. I put out a tweet. I said Murray State, let's give them credit.
Yeah.
They had not, to previous games, like I said in the pregame show last week, I'm like, vanilla unit. Geez, I'm kind of watching it, base stuff, straight ahead blocking. Well, what do? They come out with counter scheme. They pulled out counter scheme, little inside gap scheme. They hadn't done that all year. So when you saw them running around the end, like the long touchdown run, the first one, winning 3rd and 2, 70-yard touchdown run. Well, that wasn't necessarily them. They caught us in a blitz. Like we sent everyone, like we just said, okay, we're gonna get our hearts started and send. You can see everyone was manned up. We sent everyone, well, they ran right around the end. There was no one left. Well, it's okay. Credit Murray State. They called option on 3rd and 2. Not the greatest call in the world when you're not an option team, right? But it worked for a 70-yard touchdown. So yeah. But no, the running game, when we had trouble with it, it was a Murray State changed up. It took us a quarter and a half, I suppose, to adjust to it, to start to. I think it was a defensive end issue. Kind of playing it differently. Suddenly saw the defensive end outside. He wasn't riding. I think we weren't crashing down. We were going out or something.
It looked to me, and my wife was sitting right next to me. She's like, "What happened there? What happened?" And I'm like, "Well, it looks like our run fits just aren't in the right formation. We're not in the right gap." And so I think they caught us a little bit. And hats off to Murray State, but it seems like when we get punched a little bit in the first quarter, it's kind of like we switch our hat around to the back and we really turn things on. So that was a surprise to me that we got down, but very comforting to see us respond.
As former players, how does that work when it's like you've prepped all week, you've watched their last 4 games, and they start throwing wrinkles, and it like things fall apart like fast. It feels like what's going on the sideline? What are the coaches talking about? Like, how are they trying to figure out what's going on?
Well, they get over there and they can sense it because they're being told. The defensive staff is on the sideline, but they got people up top. They're seeing the pulling guards, things like that are messing them up. So what they got to do is get over quick. And I think now they got iPads, right? I think they do the iPad replay
review.
Yeah,
just like we do.
So instead of a whiteboard, like the old days, whiteboard drawing it up and having the coach, you tell the coach, they're like, "What's happening?" Okay, and then they figure it out. Well, now they look at it, they see it, but where we talked about before, the long drives by UND's offense were the key to allowing them time. Well, now this last game, there weren't any long drives. We kept scoring so quick. So I think I put out a tweet. I said, "Hey, we need a 9-minute drive to figure out what the hell is going on defense right now because we're not stopping anyone." They throw a Bo Belquist bomb touchdown right back out there. It's like, oh boy, so I don't think they had a whole lot of time, but they figured it out. They knew, they've done enough coaching that.
So is that where fall camp comes in, where you're just putting in all your systems where, hey, maybe this defense we put in the 4th week of camp, and wow, we need that right now because we weren't expecting that. Does that stuff like that come up during a game?
I think it's movements up front, man.
Movement,
right? How to I don't know. I'm not well versed in the D-line, DN world, but
during fall camp, you get thrown at every situation, right? So, and that's what the scout teams are for, and that they put you in all these different positions because they know pretty much the different sets that the offense is going to be in throughout the whole year. So you practice against those when you're installing all the different formations, the blitzes, the 4-eye technique. We used to run Roosevelt. So we go through all of those different types of things. And then it's just muscle memory when you get to that game week where, okay, yeah, we've already installed this a couple times, or this is the team that we played first game of the season. They're running the same formation. So you can rely on that muscle memory. And if you've been around athletics just a little bit, you know, the muscle memory and then the retention of that is key, and recognition of what's happening in front of you. And then once you have that, the game slows down a little bit. And the coaches do a great job. You come over to the sideline, they're talking, they usually know exactly what happened there. Okay, you can't get caught inside on that. Make sure you look for that reach block, or you got reach there. You know, they know exactly what's going on. So they tell you to get into a little different technique, you know, go from a 4-eye, or, you know, from 4-eye to a 4 technique.
Hey, no, we got some guys sitting here. How many times do you think we kicked off last week, guys? You guys sitting
I'm
here.
gonna say 42 times. Yeah, it felt like it.
I didn't even notice it till today. How many times do we think? Yeah, you guess, guys.
Well,
Ooh, close.
9.
9, 12,
10.
10 times.
Everyone's up. 13 times we kicked
The
off.
12 wins, you get some koozie.
Yeah, there we go. Here, we got, come up here, guys. We got to get live in show. Everyone take 2. Okay, we're gonna do an in-show koozie takeaways. Get that, there we go. All you gotta do is show up at Rumors.
Yeah.
Right? Hey, 13 times we kicked off. The kickoff team ran down 100%. 13 times in one game. That's insane.
It's
Some
like
of them
2.5
played on
miles.
defense too.
Yeah.
Of running, of sprinting.
You know, just looking at our game review notes, so, and, you know, we were talking about who maybe some of the, I don't want to say mid-season, but it's in the 5 games in, we got a good pulse of what this team is all about in the report card, and Bo Belquist's name keeps coming up. And you go back to Iowa State, and we needed 4 yards on 3rd down, and he'd get us 5.5, you know?
Right, you guys.
Our times our offense maybe isn't doing what it needs to be, and it seems like Bo Belquist has been that engine every game to get us going. And boy, nothing changed this last week. And
He's what?
how big has he been for this offense?
20 yards a catch he's averaging this year. And
And
everyone
he's
wanted
already
the
had-
downtown. We wanted the downfield passing game, right? We all wanted it. We've been saying it for 15 years. Downfield passing game, where is it? Well, we can't quite get, we can't. They're getting it, and then they hit 1, or something. Okay, great. And then we
Yeah.
don't see it for 2 games. He is the downfield passing game, and that's all he does. Hey, it's 3 catches. What was he? Where are we at with Bo? Oh boy, let's turn the pages here. 3 catches, 121 yards. I mean, I don't know what, Frichte's doing something where he's isolating him.
Well, that move he made to get in the end zone after the
Yeah.
catch was like, wow. Like, he's playing at a high level right now.
Well, he's not, he doesn't panic. See the patience?
Yeah.
He saw I think it was Corey Ty had the block downfield. So he was just jogging on one side of the block, stopped, down to the other side of the block. It was like, I mean, he's not worried about anything out there, and that's, I guess, when you play 5 years and you're really good,
Yeah.
that's what happened.
Well, everything, like I mentioned before, the game slows down. He's seen just about every defense you can imagine. And not only that, it's helping our other wide receivers too, because everybody's focused on Bo Belquist, where that opens things up. Like, okay, we got to make sure we got Bo covered, even though, and sometimes they don't, he's still scoring points for us. But that opens up opportunities for Caden Dennis and Jack Irie and Nate DeMontenac. Some of those guys maybe on the other side or running some crossing routes with Bo, where they're worried about Bo, but our other wide receivers are up and coming too. So it just adds another dynamic where a defense is worried about Bo Belquist the whole game. Well, as soon as they're not worried about him, we hit him downfield, which is fun to watch.
Another area we talked about, safety was kind of a position that we talked about early on where, boy, I hope we have enough in the arsenal to fill that back end of the defense. But, on our notes, the pass coverage, the secondaries, they're playing at a high level this year, aren't they?
Well, we're young. Yeah, we're young, but we're getting interceptions when we should, I haven't seen, how many dropped interceptions have we seen this year? Where we should have had
Not
that
a lot.
one.
We had 2 last week, not many before that. I think 2 we could have had, but that it happens, but yeah, not many.
Not many, but and then the ones that we for sure should have had, we got. So one was for a pick 6. So
Erkman got his first one a couple weeks ago. Jet Sutton got his first last week. So young kids, I mean, they're gonna get worked. Teams are gonna just see freshmen on the 2 deep and be like, all right, well, we're gonna take a shot at them, because the reason why it's gonna happen too is because the corners are playing so well. UND's corners are playing really, really well. Antonio Bluet, I don't think he's got an interception yet, but he had his hands.
Should have
on
had
it.
that
Yeah.
one early on. Yeah, he had that. He was all over that one in the
But,
first
yeah,
half.
they're playing well, and he's gonna get better because he's young. He hasn't really played before, but Devin Hembry's the one who's playing really. He's reading stuff. Again, last week they tried I think they ran the rail wrong, but it was tried the post wheel on him. And, an inexperienced corner will follow the post a little too far or, get a little messed up. So they tried to hit the wheel and he sat right in between them again. Because he did it the week before too. They tried a corner out and he sat halfway in between, jumped the out, and picked it off. And he's just reading things. That's confidence. It just comes with experience, comes with confidence, and like little, nuances from the offense aren't getting to him. So yeah, it's they gave up some points, but they fixed everything after the first quarter. And it's looking a lot better than I think we all pretty much expected coming into the year.
I think a fun job would be to shadow Sean Kostic during the week because special teams, you always say, well, this game could come down to special teams. And you see that play every once in a while, but what is it about, especially the last few years? Because I'm not gonna lie, there's been some years where I thought our special teams, and maybe it was coverages or penalties, it didn't always flow. But the last few years, it's a high level, and wow, last week was no different, and it's a game changer for us.
Yeah, it sounds cliche, but that 3-phase game where you can put it all together, right? You have your offense, defense. So many people focus on just those two things. Well, there's a third of the game that's literally just special teams, and it goes unnoticed sometimes, but that can be literally the difference. As we saw last year, it can jumpstart opening kickoff. You run one back, it can jumpstart your offense and hey, all right, let's go. It creates that momentum shift. Let's say you're on the wrong end of that momentum. That's the dynamic that you want in your special teams. And we have that where we have one.
Three
Punt
huge
block.
plays or punts.
Yeah.
We're all punt related. Well, they roughed our punter. We needed that bad.
Yeah.
We weren't playing very well before they roughed our punter. It was like, oh, thank God. I think we went down and scored then. So then we got a little momentum back and then blocked the punt.
Which I think like 5 guys could have blocked that. There was a lot of great.
There were so many things going on. And again, I can't remember the order of operation, but we blocked the punt. So that was huge, 7 points. Okay. And then Sam Strandell, their guy decided to pick up the bouncing punt and he had it for a second and Strandell hit him perfect right on the ball, comes rolling out the backside. So we get set up again in that end. And I think it was about halftime. Well, that was 24-21, something like that. Also it's 48-21 or something like that. At half, just because all of those plays happened in their end, we kept punching it in. I'm at Mexican Village with my family in the third quarter because they're like,
stay till the end of the game. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't know.
we had 48
Thought I'd
points.
throw that out there. Saw your tweet.
My wife, when she makes it into town, we go to Mexican Village, end of story. That's it. When we come to Grand Forks, we go there. So she's like, they have 48 points. Let's just go now. All right, we'll go.
Hey, there'll be plenty of chips after the game.
Yeah.
They don't run out.
They're unlimited. They make them there or something.
You know how long a game was? I came back then because my youngest son Hayden was dead set on getting his #1 jersey signed by Bo Belkis. I mean, it was all week, dead set. We got there early in the game and before in warm-ups, couldn't find him. Like it didn't work out. I wasn't gonna grab him off field, So I had to go back. Like, all right, game's over. I go, let's go back. We drive back. We're gonna stay at the Canada Inn. I come walking in, there's 4 minutes left in the game.
Yeah.
I checked into the hotel. I went to Mexican Village to get something to eat, and there's 4 minutes left in the game. I'm like, that was the longest game
Matt,
ever.
what were you doing? Were you watching?
I
was watching.
I've learned the hard way. You never leave a sporting event early. No matter what, you could be up by 50, 60 points. You never, ever leave early.
In my defense,
Ever.
I had the
Kelly.
I had
You
the
never
ESPN
leave early.
game on.
Okay.
I had it on
No,
at
no,
Mexican
no,
Village. I was just sitting there like this. Yeah.
One more thing about special teams is the tackling. Wow. There's not many,
Kickoff.
there's no second chance.
13 kickoffs.
Yeah.
And we had good coverage on the ones that they could return. Hey, how about their guy? Did you guys notice their guy kicking off? The greatest kickoff guy I've ever seen in my life. he puts them 100 yards in the air and they land a yard into the end zone. Well, so you're trying, well, I better bring it out. Well,
Yeah.
by the time Donovan Hunt got to the 10, they were on him. So he's having to cut left. And I mean, he wasn't making out to 20 sometimes. That guy was unbelievable. Oh, yeah, no. I mean, not that our guy was just tired. He couldn't kick
Yeah,
anymore.
he was just worn out.
You know, one thing, and we're hearing it in the media this week, is 35 points, Murray State. We gave up points to San Diego. Does that concern you guys as we get into the tougher part of our schedule? Has this
Yeah.
defense been tested for 4 quarters?
We don't want to
And
fall
are they
behind.
ready to go?
Falling behind concerns me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a first quarter issue. I guess you don't want to fall behind in the Fargo Dome. I know that, but I'm not worried about 28 points per se. Like Idaho State, I'm not worried. It's just 38-0. But yeah. You don't want to give up like San Diego. We gave up here's 14 points. We didn't even put up any resistance. Okay, I mean, that can't happen, obviously if you're playing a good team, because now you're not gonna be able to just easily come back when you're against South Dakota State, South Dakota. So yeah, I guess there is concern there. I'm not concerned with the total points, just with the start of how easy it was at the start of the game. And are we gonna be able to always adjust that quickly? I don't know.
What's the answer to that?
These teams are better. Well, they're scheming us up. I mean, some of these teams
Maybe come in like it's halftime and
Yeah.
just start chewing ass,
Yeah.
and throwing clipboards, kicking
Right.
chalkboards. All right, let's go.
Yeah. That was terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
it's just
Great game.
I'm still stretching. Come on.
Yeah, well, I don't know. We gotta figure something out. I mean, Idaho State though wasn't. They came
No.
out fine in that one,
Yeah.
and they were juiced up.
Well-
They had a Tatum Bowl, so.
I don't know. We might be able to chalk it up to, Murray State. You look at Murray State's roster. Yeah, we should be able to easily win this game. And it's sometimes hard to get up for some. We've never played this. Well, we played them once before last year there. And so it's a team you really don't know, but you should be able to win. They're picked last in the conference. So I think part of our slow start can be chalked up to that too a little bit, where maybe we just didn't take them serious enough to begin with. And then we needed to get punched in the mouth a couple times, it's like that, if a guy picks a fight in the alleyway with you, I mean, sometimes it takes a few shots to the chops to get your adrenaline going. And I think that's what happened Saturday.
Well, I'm ready to put Murray State to bed. How about you guys?
Yep.
Thanks so much, Kelly Howe Agency, for that game review. Appreciate it. Let's take a trip around the Missouri Valley. And I'm just sad I didn't have tickets for the Houston Christian Indiana State game. Wow. 27-24. I think the fans got their money's worth for that one, if there was any at the game.
Yeah, nobody was there. I know, seeing our games there, you pull it up on ESPN. It's like,
Yeah.
tough times.
South Dakota beating Southern Illinois 42-13 is that,
Surprising, yeah.
but Southern Illinois without some weapons, right? Due to injuries.
Quarterback's out, yeah, he's not gonna be out for a while. I think that hurts them, but their defense was supposed to be all right. They lost some guys, had to put a lot of transfers in, but South Dakota, that's a really good win. There were some question marks with them too, but defensively, offensively, they had everybody back.
Yeah, Bowman's back.
Yep.
Yeah, Missouri State, Youngstown. Wow, only 38-31. We've kind of been like, what's going on at Youngstown? They didn't win the game, but we've also been looking at Missouri State as kind of glad they're not on the schedule this year.
Yeah, they're turning top half of the team now.
Was that their homecoming? I don't know if Youngstown maybe just started to kick it in the rear a little bit and get going.
The last second win.
Yeah,
they
so
scored at the end of the game.
Yeah,
Trying to turn their season around, I think.
Yeah, Missouri State's better and Youngstown's worse than we expect. They're 1-4 now, so they're in trouble. Yeah.
And then Illinois State, boy, they must really suck this year. They lost to NDSU 42-10. You got to start the smack talk a little bit, right? What did you watch any of that game? Watch any highlights?
You want your defense to feel better about themselves, go play Illinois State.
Wow.
Well, NDSU gave up 270 yards rushing and 205 the weeks before. They gave up 8 against Illinois State.
Yeah, 8.
Illinois State was missing multiple linemen that got hurt. So their backups weren't very good. I was watching, I mean, guys were getting blown into the backfield just with one bull.
Defensive players feeling a little better than maybe they should be this week. Who they play this week?
I've said this about Illinois State every year. I mean, they keep their butt covered on offense. They don't try much. It's, it's simple stuff. And when they're down O-line, then it's really not gonna go well. So, yeah, I wasn't totally surprised by that result, but yeah, it was a pretty pedestrian week, nothing, no real huge surprises, I don't think.
Really.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, that Houston.
That 42-13 doesn't surprise you too much with South Dakota and Southern Illinois?
Yeah, I guess the margin, you could say. Yeah, the margin, but I thought South Dakota would win, but yeah, good win for them. That'll look good later in the year, because I'm sure Southern Illinois will put it together here. They always have talent.
All right, well, that's a look around the valley, and coming up next, we've got a couple of special guests stopping by, and they know a little bit about UND football. Happen to be the coordinators. That's next. Well, it is that time where we're tired of hearing ourselves talk, so it's the guest segments. Thanks to our friends at Development Homes, it's the 360 guest of the week, and Development Home Inc. Wow, $1,000 bingo giveaway every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday and Thursday. No minimum amount of people needed, and you can do that right here at Rumors, where we're at here in Grand Forks. We got the show on the road this week, and Kelly, I don't know how you do it, but you were able to put together an A-list guest list for this week.
Yes, I was.
I don't know how you do it. You got connections, but to get the offensive coordinator in Rumors,
Well, he had
week
more
of
than-
a big game.
He had more than enough time. They're not busy this week or anything, very few meetings. It's a light week for them, right?
Yeah.
I remember how it was around that office, okay, when I played, and then when I'd stop in, 10 years ago, whatever let's call it, when they started playing, it was different around that office, and I kept joking with you about it, Isaac. I said, hey, like, is it different this week? Does it feel like different? You didn't think not too different than like Montana, San Diego week, nothing but
I think
the intensity.
I mean, I think the kids know, I think that's what you really see is the kids know, like from the moment that the Murray State game was over, and I mean, barely when Bubba got done talking, it was like, hey, it's NDSU week. I don't care what else is going on. It's NDSU week. Let's go to work. And you can see it in the kids' eyes. And this week they've been great. The coaches have been preparing like crazy and doing a great job. But I think we're just trying to control the message in our building and control what we can control. And Bubba's done a great job of portraying that message. So I'm not really surprised with the grind that we've been going through, and the kids have been great. So.
Well, those pipes you're listening to, Isaac Frichte, our offensive coordinator, brand new offensive coordinator to the University of North Dakota. Let's just dive into it. We haven't had you on the show. How do you like Grand Forks, and how's this been for you and your family?
Yeah, it's been great. Really enjoyed living in Grand Forks so far, and went through the winter, but like we talked about off air a little bit earlier, been in the Midwest and handled the cold, but we got the Alaris Center, so it's been great. The family loves it. I got 2 boys running around at home. All they want to do is play Fighting Hawk football, and yeah, it's been fun. Been great. Good community.
What's it like coming into a program where, hey, we weren't bad offensively last year, and a good friend of ours left and for other pastures, but what's it like coming in where the cupboard isn't really bare?
Yeah.
And you get to put your touches on it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the best thing about it is this program knows how to win. They know what it takes to be a champion, and like I said, when I got hired, I just gotta try and not screw it up. But I've been trying to bring in some new things, and we got to hire a new offensive line coach, which has been fun. But real familiar with the offensive staff. Coach Kirkwood and I played together, and Coach Kostic was a GA at Minnesota when I was there. So it's been a lot of fun. It's been good. The kids are great to work with. They got a great mindset about what they're doing. They're getting better every day, and they continue to work hard. So that's all you can ask for at the end of the day.
Let's turn our attention to the O-line. Coming into the year, I raised my hand. I was worried. All right. So I was worried. You lost 4 starters. All right. I mean, I wasn't the only one. Right. So, but I was a little worried. I'm like, none of these guys ever played before. They Seth played, but the other guys haven't. All right. Who's going to play? Type of thing. And nobody had any idea. Did you guys have a sense as you went through, spring into the summer? And you saw them work out, you saw, bodies develop, whatever, attitudes, mindset, whatever, you get to know the kids. Coach Trevor Olson took over, and once again, I didn't know anything about him. I don't know it, other than I started to find out that he's very good at run schemes. I think one of the defensive coordinators I talked to said he's very good at coming up with run game plans type of thing. Did you guys have a sense, as you entered fall camp, that we got something here? Like these kids, just weren't given an opportunity maybe because they had older, better players in front of them, but we got something here?
I think we knew that we had the potential to be really good. But I think when you got to the Iowa State game, you got to really see what we could be about. And it was more, I think, in a sense of getting the kids to believe that they could be really special. And, we got a long ways to go and we got to keep working and all that stuff. But I think that was the biggest thing and the biggest moment for them to understand, like, hey, I can actually be pretty darn good, from Liam to Caleb Olson to Ben Buxton, especially those three had, basically never taken a snap before. So it was just getting them to believe that they could be great. And, they keep getting better every single day. Practice this morning, they're doing a good job of getting downhill and being physical. And, like we talked about, fast and physical, that's all we're doing. If you're wrong, at least being fast and physical. They're doing a good job of that.
Coach, you touched on a few things that we've talked about a few times in our podcasts already this year, is that just the belief that the players have in themselves and each other, that yeah, we can be special. We have something special here. We're going to put our stamp on this program. And I know you're new here too, but what have you seen maybe in your tenure here so far that maybe has changed, or no, this philosophy has really changed in these guys where they do believe in themselves? Has there been a turning point? Was it the off season? What, in your opinion, has changed?
Well, I think I would go back to the Iowa State week and go to the Montana week. Two really good programs, two really good places, really great players, good coaches. And, we didn't beat Iowa State. We're not going to, sit here and talk about moral victories because, we want to win that game. That's important to us. We want to go get that W. But the kids started to believe in the system and in themselves and in what they've been hearing and what they've, been told. They started to believe, like, hey, we can put 23 plays in a row on Iowa State and look at Iowa State. They're a top 15, 18 team in the country right now, FBS. And one thing I really like to do on Fridays, we don't do it every Friday because it's monotonous, but we like to do Fridays where we talk about visualization. And we'll pull clips from, first game, second game, third, any game, and show the kids kind of kicking butt, if you know what I mean, and watch them do what they do. And so I try to talk to them about it. Visualize yourself doing this tomorrow. See yourself kicking somebody's butt, if you know what I mean.
We're on a podcast, so you can say whatever you want.
I'm with you. He's also,
But they don't sit and live in them.
But that brings up another point that we've already talked about, that our mental toughness seems to has gone up a notch this year. That we were mentally tough before, nothing against our previous teams, but we've taken that next step to be a championship team. And I'm throwing you a meatball, like, well, I've got here, I'm the difference, but no, I was throwing you the meatball, and you didn't swing at it.
I appreciate it, but I think it's all the kids. It's the intensity and how we practice.
Sure.
We constantly are talking about how do you respond? How do you respond? And it was just emulated against Iowa State, where we got bombed on that first drive, and our defense was like, holy crap, they were in great positions. They made great plays. Iowa State did. And our defense was right there, but it could very easily, our kids could have looked back and went like, oh shit, and they didn't. They came out, we put a good drive together. And what I've been trying to talk to them about a lot is just playing team football. It's okay sometimes to punt, but you better flip the field. You got to get to the 50-yard line, then punting is okay. You can't go 3 and out. And at times we struggled with that, but trying to build confidence and trying to build, kind of some mojo is difficult at times. But, when you got young guys, they're doing a great job of listening to the message and continuing to drive the message and win the response when they do get it too.
We talked a lot about a lot of areas, but was it 6-7 weeks ago, we didn't know who our starting quarterback was going to be. And I don't think we're gonna lie, Isaac. When you announced the starter, there was a lot of people going, "What? I thought it was a two-man race." And Simon comes out of nowhere for a lot of the fans, probably not for you, but talk about what it was that you saw in him that he was going to be a good fit to be a leader of this offense this year. Not degrading the other two guys, but what stood out with Simon to give him the nod?
I think just the response. I know we just talked about it and it's maybe cliche to say, but I would play Simon in spring ball and in fall camp with the 3s and the 4s at times, just to see how he reacted. And we put everybody else with the 3s and the 4s at times, just to see how they react. And the kid that consistently made plays and consistently executed at a high level was Simon. And, probably my favorite thing, I mean, Kelly's been to practice before, but you guys have never been to practice. I kind of get after kicking. And my favorite thing about Simon is that I can scream at him and get him coached up extremely hard. He doesn't waver, Now, he's been pretty good throughout the fall so far. He's got to take care of the football a little bit better and trust his protection more. But he's gotten better every single week, and I think you've seen that with it. And the best thing about him, I can sit here and say it's me and the coaching, but I tell him if it ain't there, run, because that's what you do best. Take off, run. It's okay. And the one sack that we had on Saturday is probably his fault because I'm telling him step up and run. But it is what it is. He's getting better, and like I said, he's been unwavering. Where I need him to take the next step is to be a better leader and call guys out when they're not doing what they're supposed to do. But he'll get there.
What's interesting about his statistics while watching him play is he seems to struggle more with short passes than he does long passes. Well, that's not typical, is it? Guys, it's like, we usually watch ding, 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 and then all of a sudden overthrow. You see someone or not enough arc, that type of, well, it seems as the games have gone on here, I think early Iowa State he might have missed. He didn't, I think one of those was a good throw he had, but these last few games, the pass development's on the sideline, the UND sideline is about perfect with arc and everything. And he seems, is that more comfortable for, does he ever say to you, does he communicate that, I do feel comfortable throwing longer, or I don't like throwing these little bubble screens, or does he ever say that, or is it?
So on Thursdays, we have a one-on-one where we go through the call sheet and try to highlight his favorite plays. And the reason we do that is so that, red zone, third downs, critical situations, I know exactly what he's thinking. He knows exactly what. But to answer your question, I think the hard part is that he has struggled with the shorter throws, but I think it's because he's short. And I tell him all the time, you're vertically challenged, so what does he always do? It's a technique error. He gets on his toes to try and see over Liam and Seth, which doesn't matter. It's not helping you, and so it's a technique issue where he's constantly on his toes, and then you see the ball die because he's not able to use all of his cleats to throw through his base. And I tell him, it's like being a baseball player. You swing a bat, you're not on your toes ever. You're on your whole foot, and you get a flexion. But
so Simon and I both suffer from short man syndrome. Glad I'm not the only one.
Simon's not near his ornery.
Maybe he needs that a little bit, huh? At times,
maybe he needs to yell at
players out.
Maybe coach has to come over and yell at you somewhere.
Yeah, or I could come by and I could show the guys a few things. Yeah,
get him right.
Yeah,
but been around the program a long time.
I was just telling him
calling the games with Eddie back in the
day. My first words were Bison suck. Yeah, so I've been a fan of the program, but I've enjoyed the rivalry. It's a lot of fun. But let's talk about the rivalry. You're new to this thing, and there's a lot of people in the state that don't remember when this rivalry was at its peak because they weren't born yet, or they weren't old enough to enjoy it. What's been your experience as we're midweek into a big week for a lot of us fans?
Yeah, I had a staff when we were game playing right away on Sunday, and I just said, what is it like? What's the week like? And it was a little bit indescribable. Coach Kostic has been here for 10, 11 years now, and kind of tried to describe it in terms of the Iowa-Minnesota game, because that's what I played in. And he said it's worse. It's worse.
Really?
Yeah, he said it's worse. It's more ruthless. And it's more personal. And
it's not like you hate each other. Like, it's not like, hey, I hate you today. No, we hate you all year. They hate us, but there's like almost a lack of respect at the exact same time. So it's like not like it's not a healthy one. Oh, like it gets, I mean, once you get older, it gets better. Sure. But you know, when you're in that 18 to 30 range, it's not healthy. It's like, I mean, it's hey, you grow up a little bit over time.
Well, and we don't do ourselves any favors by living in Fargo, either Kelly and I.
Right.
So I mean, we've been in the Lions Den, Phil, since I've been there since '05, so I've had to deal with some of the Bobo heads down there, but for a long time. But yeah, it's certainly a hatred and, you know, an animosity that you develop, not only as a player, but as you get older. It's like, God damn it, this means a lot to you.
Yeah, each side is going the hell out of each other, and both sides think they have a point, right?
Yeah. And there's never equals to anything, but you know, we hate to look at last year, and you weren't part of the game last year, and I know they're trying to block that out of their minds down there, but you have to do that here a little bit, going, come on, guys, you know, we had success last year, but that was last year.
I mean,
or do you use that to build up?
I think it's a building block. One, I think number one, the team is so much different. Like the kids that played last year, other than like Gavin and Bo and Quincy, it's all new kids, you know. But like I said, I think the one thing that is different this week, the intensity level, you saw it Saturday sitting in the locker room after we beat Marty. Like they knew, you know, so.
There was no 24-hour rule
No,
on that
there
one, yeah,
wasn't.
maybe a 5-minute.
Yeah, it was, I mean, it was quick. I went and like, coach got done talking, I walked up to the quarterbacks and they were like, let's roll. I mean, those eyes were just laser beams. I saw it on Tuesday morning. We came in for our offensive meeting. I was just like, we're looking like through people's souls right now. And I like that. It feels intense the week, and I don't mean to downplay it, but the week hasn't felt different in that sense.
Might be better.
But the kids are just, and they sure seem locked in. They sure seem laser focused on what we gotta do.
Well, you kind of said that, Kelly, on the way up, where I was like, what was Bison week for you?
Yeah.
And you said you stayed out of the bars more that
Yeah,
week,
they
right?
go to the bar that week.
Yeah.
You know, it's a big move for me, you know? I mean,
Little baby steps, right?
it's serious. Yeah.
But you said more film.
Multiple times per week. Like, I'm not going at all.
Are you seeing more guys in the film room this week, maybe a little bit, watching a little extra, or?
I suppose you can't tell. Do they have it on? Do they have iPads?
That's the hard part is they watch it on their phone, their computer, their iPad. You know, and we can track how many hours or minutes that they're on it, and we haven't done it yet, but I mean, like Simon, I want to say Idaho State week was watching like 3 hours of film on his own.
Wow.
You know, and that's on top of an hour meeting a day with the quarterbacks, you know, so Monday through Friday, it's.
Well, and we were talking about, you got the iPads right now, right?
Yeah.
And this is the first year you guys have been
Yeah.
able to use them, and how has that changed things during a game?
Yeah, it's been a good adjustment. You know, at times it's kind of similar. I mean, to when you didn't have them, because it's like, hey, we just gotta go play. You know, we just quit looking at the film. We gotta go play. But it's been different and better in a sense of, you know, being able to talk to like receivers in splits or talking to quarterbacks in terms of like what the break angle may be on certain routes, or who is it gonna, you know, where's the route gonna bend compared to, you know, the Mike or the Will on this play or whatever it might be. So it's been beneficial to show them like in-game adjustment, like, hey, look at this. You know, the bubble goal that we threw to Bo down the left side against San Diego, like what podcast you said earlier. We were laughing Sunday night. I'm like, we're gonna run that play. Well, I'm gonna put it in. We put it in, and like Coach King and I are just like kind of laughing at each other, like, you gotta take direction. And then we're on the sideline. We ran the one bubble, threw it to CD, and I don't know, he maybe got tackled for like 3-4 year game. And you're like, we gotta call it. So the next third down, you know, Bubba's like the best head coach in America. Word for it. He's like, go for it. He doesn't even like every fourth down.
Let's do it.
I asked him, I'm like, Coach, what do you think? Is this we're thinking about go for it, I don't care, let's go. I'm like, all right, so we called it and I'm like, we saw it on the iPad, both the corner and the safety just jumped the heck out of the bubble and. You know, the rest is history. Paul made a great job of avoiding and Simon threw a good ball. Protection was great.
Well, we've done all this touchy-feely good stuff. Now let's get into the nuts and bolts. I can tell Kelly's ready to dive into this week's game plan.
So, let me tell you about what I think we should do this week, Coach.
I'm ready.
Every week I like to, yeah.
He's got his own iPad. He's gonna get out.
Get it all right here.
You wanna use mine?
There you go. Every week I come on here and say what should happen, you know, so it's usually spot on, right, Matt?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Or my halftime tweets we gotta do in the second half, then he does the opposite, and it works.
I hope you guys are scrolling Twitter to see what's happening tweeting during the game, just so. Oh, yeah, Kelly, you're right. We're wrong.
Bubba's got a rule, no phones in the locker.
All right.
That's probably a good one.
You have a wristband, WWKD. What would Kelly do at this moment?
All right, hey, NDSU. Okay, so obviously we're not gonna ask for a game plan, but what are you seeing this week? You know, I'm sure you've watched them in the past, you know about their history. The defense in particular, it seems like it's more the same. You know, a 4-3 Tampa 2 look. Very little pressure, but they love their front four. They always do. So they kind of play that way. You've seen a lot of 3-man fronts this year. And then I think what was it? Format?
Yes.
Yeah, last week was the first one. So what is this week's game plan versus, you know, those other 3-man fronts? Anything different for me, or is it just a blocking? Is it just an up front deal, or is it actual play calling would change?
It's not really much schematic. You know, I think you'll see some of the same.
Without giving away the game.
It's not going around, you know, all of NDSU's, you know, comments and social media posts and all that stuff. We're, you know, but, you know, not to get too far in the weeds on it, but I think you'll see a lot of the same stuff. You know, probably use some tempo with what we do to try and, you know, not let the crowd affect us. And do some things to try and, play fast and you know, but I think you'll see us do a lot of the same thing.
The crowd noise, you brought that up. You know, I know Simon gets the call from the sideline, runs up. So I can't imagine him, you know, the receivers get it from the hat, the colored hat guys. Do they get it from or someone? Let's say they get it from someone. Someone's giving some signal. Nobody's figuring it out.
I don't know who.
You're the only one who knows what's going on. Okay, but
You know, I'm signaling.
I'm always watching the hat guy. I'm like, they're all
They're the distraction.
yeah. So, okay, so if it's loud and you're having issues, should it not be an issue as much because he walks right up to the line and yells at him and then comes back and clap? Because you can hear the clap through audio, I mean, you know, 100 whatever decibels, you can hear the clap, right?
Yeah.
Is that the point of the clap?
Yeah, I mean, we've practiced yesterday and today with crowd noise in the power doors.
Okay.
I mean, so
Okay.
there's 2 speakers the size of these 2 tables right next to the goalpost, and we're practicing on -40 on that. So, we've been, you know, I guess in quotes in the environment, haven't had really any issues with it. You know, but you're right, that'll be communication with Simon and the front line, and
Because he doesn't need, the wide receivers don't need to hear anything.
yeah, no, I mean, it'll be if the O-line can handle hearing from Simon what's going on and being able to, you know, make plays off of it.
Before we let you go here, I know you gotta get back to the office, but let's talk about Melvin. He seems to be obviously evolving this year to an all-time high. He's been a playmaker in the past, but now he's the downfield guy. He's the big play guy for you. Is this scheming? Are you guys like scheming it up, seeing what you got coming in? You know, coming in, you know, man to man, that type of thing. Where is it getting Bo alone? Is that a precedent coming into the week? Hey, we can isolate Bo here. We know we can do it. Or does it just happen as the game goes on? You have something pop up in your head.
You know, I think there's a lot of different facets that go into that. One, you always have a base game plan to try and get certain guys certain, right? So you're going to use motions, unbalanced formations, shifts, trades to try and get him isolated on a certain individual, we'll just say that. And then, yeah, it's schemed up like he's progression one. Exactly.
You are the weakest link.
You more times than not, he's progression. So that's probably number one. And then number two, I learned this coaching D3 ball, and it was a credit to the head coach that I worked for. He used to tell me all the time, because he fired his OC after week 3, and I was a volunteer, so I had to call plays. I had no idea what was going on. But he used to tell me all the time, he goes, I don't really care what they're playing on defense. Throw the ball to Cole Speaker. The end of that his whole point was throw the ball to our best player. And Cole now plays in the CFL and just signed a contract extension and all this stuff. And he's a great player for me. But I try to talk, Coach King and I have the conversation early in the week when we're going through game plan. How many times are we going to throw the ball to, insert name? We can say Bo because that's who we're talking about. But we're talking about the same guy with, same number with CD or with Nate, or how do we get Quincy more touches? How do we get Zay touches out of the backfield? So it's a combination of scheme of what the defense is doing. I think us and schematically what we're doing to try and isolate them on not as good of players. And then number 3, it's a pitch count. I want to throw the stinking ball to Bo Belkis because he's our best receiver. And if we got to throw it to him 14 times in the first half, that's what we're going to do. So it's all about touches, like the NBA.
It works for me. Yeah, I like that, man. Throw it as many times as you can. One more I lied. Sidell didn't play last week, leg injury or something, but he was dressed. Dressed again this week. Game time decision, or what are we talking?
Yeah, he's had a good week of practice, and we'll see what happens with him. But he dressed, like you said, he dressed last week. He'll dress this week. We'll see how he feels and see how things go. But Sawyer's a guy that we got to get the football to. He's a heck of a player.
Pretty quick. Yeah, he is. He's like that 70-yard touchdown run around the end. I don't know. That changed the game. Yeah. I don't know if he doesn't do that, and I think we inevitably would have turned around, but that turned around like that. Because all of a sudden the defense, I think, jumped out of their seats like, okay, or they could breathe again. It was all of a sudden a 4-point game instead. Right.
So. And that's the thing about Sawyer is we call it inside zone on that. And he's got the ability to bounce that thing and increase
inside zone.
He's special. We got to keep him healthy and keep him playing and keep him working. But he's been good.
Well, Isaac, we talked about it too. A lot of clean play out of your offense. Not a lot of penalties this year. You've had your moments, right? But
San Diego week.
Yeah. I think you had 8 that game. Did you?
Yeah, 3 overall. On offense.
Yeah, 3 on offense. Yeah, make sure you let the defense again know that they have more, right?
No.
What do you attribute to that? Just good discipline and maybe what they built on the off season, the cohesiveness?
Well, you tried to give me credit earlier. I'm going to try and give myself credit here. But to be honest, our staff does a really good job in spring ball, in fall, of making practice chaotic. And we've talked about it a lot that we want to play fast. We want to have practice be complete chaos. And the reason we want it to be chaos is so that on Saturday it's calm.
Yeah.
And it's very, very under control. And there's times that maybe the emotions get better of us, but practice, we want it to be up tempo, we want to move, we want it to be chaotic so that when Saturday comes around, we're in a controlled environment, everything's cool. The one thing that is really good, we talked about response earlier, it teaches kids not to sit there and worry about that last play that I just screwed up.
Yeah.
I dropped the pass. Well, okay, it doesn't matter. The next play's here, dude. We got to go. We don't have time for you to sit there and sulk or lay on the turf. If you're going to do that, get your butt out. We ain't going to have you in there. So, the up-tempo, no huddle aspect helps you with that. And it helps the kids respond because they don't have time to think about, what happened in the past. And the iPad's been a good help. We talked about it earlier of being able to go back after the drive and say, hey, let's look at this one now. But our kids have done a good job of handling the chaos of practice, and then Saturdays have been pretty calm because of that. And we practice clean. We get a good look from our scout guys. I tell them all the time, play as hard as you can, make as many plays as you can. Just don't fall down and be on the ground and roll up on guys. But they do a good job. So we're as good as they are.
been a fun half hour. I can tell that you're a player's coach, and I mean, you wouldn't want me, but I'd love to go play for you. I don't know about these guys. Yeah, I don't know if you can teach these guys any offense, but we'll see if there's a spot on the bus for you on the way home on Saturday, right? I hope there is. Yeah. Well, this game has cost people jobs. We talked about Rocky Hager had a little trouble there for a while. Had to go to the East Coast, but best of luck to you. Thanks so much for dropping by, and we're glad you're on our team.
Yeah.
And best of luck the rest of the year, and hopefully we can do this again.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks for having me. Glad to be here, and hopefully play well on Saturday.
Continuing on our Development Homes 360 guest of the week, Joel SCHWENZFEIER, no stranger to UND football. You've been part of the program now, Joel, what, 52 years, it feels like?
Yeah, I'm using my COVID extra year too, so I'm
Just curious, did you have a good game against Texas Tech? That never gets old, does it?
The story keeps getting stretched out further and further.
Was it up to 9 interceptions now?
I think it is 8 and 9.
Next year it'll be 10.
Yep.
Well, hey, you got to be having some fun. Your defense playing at a high level this year.
Yeah, the guys have been opportunistic and have been making plays for us and looking to still remain consistent to keep getting better in some areas there. But the guys can't ask for more. They're playing their tails off, competing every day and striving to improve every week.
Yeah, plus 5 turnover margin I just saw, which is, an improvement. One thing that, in the offseason that I pointed to was interceptions. They weren't there last year. Sacks weren't there. It was the big dynamic plays, game-changing plays. I say, as you know yourself, I mean, we're on the same page as we played the same position. Interceptions change games. Okay, they just do. The crowd was crazy. Like, did you hear them when Hamilton was going off? They didn't know he was going to score a touchdown at the time, but they were already going bananas. It's like they love interceptions. Like when we come up with something, and this year, your guys, I don't know, is it just a mentality, or is it now this group of kids they're just mentally different? They're just more ball hawk. What can you point to?
I wish I to answer that question really well. We practice at a time. It's been every month or every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We have a turnover circuit that we start practice off with every week. It's not like we're changing anything that we're practicing. We put an emphasis on it during spring ball, put an emphasis on it during fall camp. We all put a target number, whatever the conference leaders were last year, put like 24 up there. We have to get 24 takeaways during fall camp. That's our goal. And we track it every day and celebrate it every time at a team meeting that we get a takeaway. But it's more of I think of a mentality of guys now that they kind of expect it to go make a play, go get after it, and go attack the ball and not be hesitant with it. And once you get one, I feel like it's a confidence thing. They just start coming down.
Speaking of which, the play of Devin at corner, is it as good as it seems? Because I point to it every week. Last week, I think it was the post wheel. They tried to run it. I think they didn't run the post real well, but they ran the wheel off it. And then the week before it was the corner out. Well, he sat halfway in between. He could have covered either one. It's like, okay, now it's like the light switch is on. Is he just playing? Is it just extreme confidence? Like, now I believe kind of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's like the DB position. You got to play with confidence and then anticipation, because it's going to find out you so fast that you can't and everything. But if you are knowing exactly where you need to be and what your job is to do, you can anticipate what the offense is doing. He's doing a great job of that.
Coach, speaking of confidence in the game, one guy that looks incredibly confident this year, it seems to have just took a leapfrog forward in his level of play, Josh Navratil, and just playing tough, getting into the backfield. And you guys made a commitment to that 3-4 several years ago. Nope, this is the right defense for us. D-line, outside linebackers, an integral role in that 3-4. Tell us about the difference Josh Navratil has made, and did he eat more Wheaties over the offseason? Like, what is it? Because he's certainly a difference maker this year.
Yeah, I could probably echo a lot of things we talked about with Devin. I'm ready to have a lot of confidence right now. We knew that Josh had this ability. He did this during the spring season. Had a good start of the freshman night here, and a handful of sacks with that. Had a step back a couple of years ago. He had a rough that kind of really 2 seasons. It was a long recovery for him, but the kid that we knew that had the playmaking ability to him, and it's awesome that happened before him the senior year. He's playing with such confidence, such a leader for our guys. Guys look to him. you know, like he's played in so many games, so many different experiences. Yeah, it's awesome. He does a great job. He comes to work every day. And he might be one of the strongest guys in our defense in the weight room. He gets after the weight room. He's a really athletic kid, and it's awesome that he's starting to put it all together on the football field.
Speak to the energy. I bring up energy on this show, or these guys are sick of hearing me say it I'm like, God, his defense is playing with energy. Like they're flying around, they don't look tired. I mean, Pettit goes basically a lunatic for the entire game, flying around, trying to tackle everyone from each sideline. It's like, holy crap. I'm glad he's on our side, you know, that type of thing. But something looks different. Okay, is that the easiest way to put it now? Did you sense that at all? Or when did you guys feel that coming on, or these guys look more energized or enthused?
Yeah.
I mean, spring ball, maybe summer, or what?
We kind of knew that we had that ability in our guys. It's more of an identity of our guys bought into now that, hey, we're going to play with our hair on there and get after the guys and just being aggressive. And then obviously during the spring part of the season that we developed confidence with our guys and that they felt comfortable. And this summer, I think we did a great off-season workout program for players. Which then did a great job with our guys. We trained them. All people in camp and how meticulous we were, all the way to practice, and we were training after that. I think it now started to pay off for our guys. Obviously, they got the ability now, just got the ability to things that way. That's how they're going to play. How we want to play. I think it's a good product.
Joel, talk about you know, your defense is no secret. You probably didn't get out to the starts you wanted to the last 2 weeks, but what happened in those starts, and what did you guys do to make the adjustments and settle in and get comfortable on defense?
Yeah, you know, dating back even to the first couple of games of the year there against Iowa State, obviously the big football, you know,
yeah,
it's not what you want to do there, but teams are going to do stuff that they end up showing or why not, but you're going to have to make adjustments in the game at some point. You got to be able to adjust on the fly. And obviously, our guys have to do better job of executing some of those things that are just going up because they didn't do anything crazy offensively or schematically. Not executing at a rate that we want to there, but once it's not always about adjustments either. It's more of our guys just getting settled in and just, all right, that was not what we are, and just got to execute our call and get lined up and get all on the same page. Defense, it's all about having 11 guys on the same page. Offensively, you can have maybe a guy running on clouds. You wouldn't even know it. It's on the back of the head. Defense, you get one thing wrong, you're exposed right away. That's kind of what it was. One thing there. Nothing crazy sometimes. That halftime kind of an overrated deal, and the guys just kind of dialed in and knew what they're doing now and came on executed at that rate.
So this week, you know, we played pretty well in the Alaris Center. We played very well in the Alaris Center. And the road, we've had some struggles. So are you addressing that this week of, guys, we got to get off to a better start because this isn't a building or a team that's good at letting you get back into a game if you fall behind?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's something that we challenge our guys to be like, hey, this is it. This is what you want to go be a competitor. You want to go in that environment like this and go get after somebody like this. We can get any better. And it's an awesome challenge. I think our guys are not playing it ready. And we're at that point where we need this like challenge for our guys to go show it that they can do it on the road. Rolling good at home.
Yeah.
It's kind of a challenge for them a little bit too. Kind of like, no, we're who we are.
An interesting little caveat to this week that we had brought up. The OC is Jake Landry. Okay. You're Joel Schaffer. You guys were teammates. And like when I look at the media guide, you're the exact same age. And you told me you lived together. So you're roommates. So the NDSU OC going against the UND defensive coordinator were roommates in college. Obviously, Jake played for UND, played at Central. Where you thought, I mean, talk to us about that dynamic. Is there anything? I mean, when you're sitting there and you're like, you know, what you see on tape is what you see. Okay. Do you ever think, okay, Jake, here's what he would do, right?
What's
I
Jake
think,
gonna do?
yeah. I mean, if it's 3rd feet and he needs a play, what kind of mentality does Jake have? Or does that?
Well, when we're playing Xbox, he always
Yeah, right. He always did this. Yeah.
he always goes to this.
Yeah.
20 years ago. Really know it has about that. I was kind of looking forward to getting into the feature to jump into the film and see if there's big chance and really it's the same thing offense and maybe a couple tweaks here and there that I don't know, but it's the same they're gonna run the football. They've got a really good quarterback. They're gonna keep it close to their guys. That's the idea. Yeah.
I saw the third down conversion, 59.6%, number 2 in the country. So they're moving chains when they need to now. I'm assuming if it's, I haven't watched every third down they have, but I'm assuming a lot of them are short because the way Ndsu plays, they like, you know, like any good offense, they stay ahead of the chains. And then when it's 3rd and 2, you're in trouble, and you know, it's, you just can't stop them type of thing. And third down conversion, how do you, is the key to getting off the field just making it a longer third down, or what?
That always plays a huge factor into. We always chart those things post game of looking back at ourselves to evaluate first down success. Usually sets you up for third down success. You can hold 1 or 3 yards on first down, and you say get them into the longer down distances. Honestly, on film, watching them and what they've made them really good on third down really is Cam Miller has got them on so much trouble with his feet and getting out of bad situations where they have pass rush coming, unblock guys on his feet, and he's able to get out, make a way to get out of the pocket, make a throw downfield, or extend it with his feet, convert with his feet, even when the play breaks down. That's where really he's been so valuable for that. Because even when it's not there, it's there with his feet or whatever he does to get himself out of trouble.
And I've said this year, to me, it looks a little different. It looks more, I compared it to our offense last year. I don't know, 11 personnel, not, you know, you're not seeing the diamond formation back there where we're gonna maul you and, you know, and being so intentional and obvious, like, we're gonna steal your will, you know, like just in the first quarter, you know, it's like, holy crap, you know, they're coming out with this stuff. But it seems like they're spreading you out a little bit, but the running game is there. So is it a little more simplified on the inside this year with their blocking schemes? And if that's what I'm picking up, but if it is, I mean, does that change anything for you, or is it just you worry about less with the pin and pull and stuff?
Yeah, you know what, the aspect of what they want to do, make those guys still they just haven't done it. It's actually assumed in the past there, but they still have variations of it. They get to it in their big personality. Yeah, like you talked about, they get into a little bit more technical in personal. They've got some dynamic receivers, I think, that they want to try to get the ball in space, and I got part of it too. Pick up their plan a little for the personnel, but I really think that at the end of the day, they're still going to hang their hat on football. That's the whole thing, what they want to do.
Cam Miller running the ball a little bit less this year. That was my feel, more of letting him work back there, and if you have to run, but it's not it doesn't seem like it's a quarterback power game like that was in the past, or what they did with Carson Wentz or Stick.
Yeah, it's less but our game. It's a little more of its own reaction. Obviously, like keeping that on. Not gonna run. You can play it correctly, like they did the fact that get into a ton of quarterback power game. It's still there.
How about their running back? What is it, Brown? I think is his name. Yeah, he's rushed for, he's hit 100 in the last 2 weeks. Do you see him picking up steam and playing with more confidence right now?
Yeah, he's a good player. He's by far, I think, their most dynamic back. When he gets going downhill, he's visible. He's a good athlete. He's going to run. Gives them that element that they want, where they can make guys miss, and or he can break to a tackle and the guys for the extra yard and keep playing with confidence. So they're see that in the last 2 games, especially that he's a different runner right now. They're really feeding him to kind of a belief in them and the confidence in him too. I think that feeding him.
As I'm looking at these stats, Bryce Lance, you know, know the name, you know, Trey Lance's little brother, 28 catches, 305 yards, 4 touchdowns. I mean, it seems like he's, you know, I've seen him, he's part of the offense, but they like to distribute it around. But is he the guy? I mean, or is there, and Braylon Henderson, he seems like he's pretty good, you know, pretty quick guy. I don't know if he's hurt. I mean, I can't remember what they said. They were missing some receivers in some of the games earlier this year, but in the passing game, is there anything you can focus on with them, or is it just Cam Miller's going to throw it to all 4 of them whenever he feels like it?
Yeah, they do a good job of keeping it balanced. They'll have to pull it like the last maybe more on the outside back than the slot. They're dynamic. They're quick. They do a good job. They're novel. By far the keeping tight end. It's a lot harder. on that pocket food stuff, so they're not trying to get the losing flag, more and staying involved there. So they do a good job of balancing out, teaching them all their skill sets. So you have to just be sound and everything you can do.
Well, we're expecting, we already, have been talking up here, we're expecting big things here, Joel, so no
Right.
pressure,
Speaking of big things, I'm expecting any pressure from big brother Aaron. I played with Aaron and, I ran into him a couple times now, off and on, just randomly, and I'm like, so what's Joel thinking this week? He's like, I don't know, I never talked to him. I get all my information from you guys, so I don't know, maybe throw big brother a
not
bone,
always the best thing.
give him a call or something, but any pressure from big brother or?
No pressure. He wants to make sure that this game ends a certain way that you want it to end.
Right.
That well known, and obviously he's got to make sure that I'm not going to compete with that by him. But
Of course, yeah, I probably have a few.
Yeah, we all have.
I almost wore it today, but
Gold and. Yep, yeah.
not extra pressure, but he wants to make sure that's the right.
Yeah.
right, and UND has always been a family of mine and all the people that I meet. And obviously it's a special place for you, having an older brother who played here, great players for the program. So what has it meant to you, being a part of UND and the culture here? What does it mean to you being a part of this?
Oh, I think super cool. This is what watching your older brother go through and playing in the game, because I never got to play in this rivalry. That's what made me fall in love with this place and fall in love with football, really. Yeah, the ability, the opportunity to play here, fall in his footsteps, bring them through the big stage. Feel continue that on a coach here. It's been a ton of fun. I drink them through the.
And I was just sitting here thinking about all the changes we've seen in facility wise, and I think of when you were a young coach, you and Carl, what was the back room called at Memorial? The bullpen? Yeah, you had like the worst facility. You had probably worse than the locker room downstairs. I mean, you guys were all tucked back in there. What's it like to come to work every day and have like a
Coming in the window.
brand new
side
office
there.
and just seeing the coaches' facilities for you guys?
Oh, it's unreal. It is 182 different from where we were. And like you were talking about our office, we joke about the other an office where we have all the GAs that kind of work in there, and they have the computer get the great stuff going on for us in there. We obviously put people there, put the whole Benji and City back up on the wall, and I feel like we're back in there.
That was the suck, wasn't it?
Yeah, a couple hours a day. So no, what it used to be like here, but no,
Yeah.
Our facility is worse.
Like, just give us an idea what it's like. I mean, is it easier to have a team meeting now? I know the answer to that, but
Position.
yeah, position
Yeah,
meetings.
Exactly. I remember at one point, position meetings off the trailer, which is on the back of the station. And late in November, that thing wasn't heated, so he used the spray bottle to wipe so the dry erase board, it froze on the little wall. I could get the whiteboard cleared off, so it was, it's come a long way. Obviously now our, the technology and the meeting rooms, the team room and all that stuff was unreal. And the ability for guys to come in at any point and just pop into one of our rooms, we have all these extra rooms, so guys can watch it online.
Yeah.
Extra on their own. Yeah, it's.
It's seeing you, picturing you back in that room, you guys, it didn't look like a lot of fun. Well, we appreciate you taking the time and coming over, and boy, it's been a treat to watch your defense work, and I can't wait for Saturday to see you get to work against NDSU.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun one. This is the stuff that you dream for, the opportunity to win.
That's UND Defensive Coordinator Joel SCHWENZFEIER on our Development Homes 360 Guest of the Week. Well, exciting times. The UND Football 360 Week 6 pregame show coming to you from Rumors Sports Bar and Grill in Grand Forks, Washington Avenue. That's all you need to know, right? You'll find it. Put it in your Google. And Kelly and I could smell the grill from outside. Just follow the smell, and it'll lead you right here to Rumors. But you know what? We need you to head south if you're from Grand Forks, or if you're in Fargo, head to the Fargo Dome Saturday. We're gonna need you in the building. Did you guys know that it's NDSU week?
Is it really?
Had you heard that?
No idea.
Better do a game preview then.
Well,
Yeah.
we better talk about it.
Sorry, my favorite segment of the week, the Toasted Frog 360 game preview, 2:30 kickoff, NDSU at the Fargo Dome. And as guys that have played in this game, and I know it has a different feel to it because we took some time off from it, and there's kids that weren't even born when, you know, the heyday of this rivalry was going. But what's it like? What's it like as a player getting ready to play NDSU and even go down to the Fargo Dome?
Well, I had a little baptism by fire in my freshman year when I'm a Duluth kid, so
We
I
won't
didn't
hold
really.
that against you.
Yeah, right, I know, but I didn't really know about the UND NDSU Sioux Bison rivalry at the time. And coming in as Kelly was a senior, and I had, you know, guys like Ryan Govid and Wes Atkinson who were in my position group, and they set the tone real early in the week of Sioux Bison week, and I think they yelled at me more than the coaches did by a long shot. And it's just a level of intensity that you feel. You know, coach talked about it right as soon as your meeting after the game is done. You're locked in. Boom. Yep. Sioux Bison week.
You're locked in. And how about you, Kelly?
Yeah,
Take me back to a week for you.
No, you just watch more tape and take it a little more seriously. I mean, this isn't Augie, it's not Morningside, all right? So you're like, what is it, you know, and a lot of it stems from off-season conversations with people. I remember, like, because in North Dakota, back in business, you go back home and stuff, you talk to them, hey, you know, I saw you get beat up on the Bison this year. Hey, we got you this year, you know, or something, they're laughing at you or whatever. And it seems like it comes up through the year. So it's like when the year comes around, you almost want to win that goddamn game. So you don't have to hear
So
the other comments.
July
Well,
when you're back home on the Missouri River and I'm going, geez, lay off, come on.
Well, it was, you know, it was just a lot of bragging rights. That's just what it was. And it was pressure. There was a lot of pressure, but you know, because both programs are good. So we're always good. So when we played, it was, you know, we're both top 10 teams typically, you know, in that range. And well, you just had to be ready. I mean, you just had to prepare. You had to be mentally ready. And I remember my freshman year down at Fargo Dome was the first game. That was the first game I started all year. All of a sudden, I hadn't played much. And then I think it was that game, Bubba made the decision that I was starting at safety and Cheetah was going corner. I was like, what?
And
like, really?
and
Okay.
all right.
You know, and then like,
you're a guy that grew up in this, and
Right,
your
yeah.
first start was against the
I think
Bison.
so. If I remember right, yeah, he was like, yeah, you're gonna start, we're gonna change it up. I'm like, okay. And I remember I missed roughly 18 tackles in the game. Kevin Feeney, you know, I remember he was running because they went to a little bit more of a pro look that year, 96, but they still had the option, the veer in there. So they pull out the veer every once in a while. He'd come down the line, I'd come flying up, not doing the banana. I did the arrow. Well, so Kevin sees me, gives a little token fake. I go flying, cuts it upfield for 15 to 20. And, you know, I was out there trying, you know, as best I could, but it was just down there at the building.
Did it feel bigger than anything you'd experienced? I mean, granted, your first college game is, but a guy that grew up in Grand Forks and your first game is in the Fargo Dome is
it was bigger. It was a lot bigger. And it was, you know, it's not that you were frozen out there, but you realized quickly that the other team, how good they were too, you know, because they were one of the better teams on our schedule. So like I said, I was making mistakes I might typically not make because they're better players across from me type of thing. And, you know, you learn. The only way you're going to learn, I've learned this with my son too. And so the only way he's going to get better is get out there and get out there and play in that first year. You learn, you see everything, you screw up. You're like, all right, I saw it. I'm not going to let it happen again. You have to do that a lot, unfortunately. But then, you know, that's the only way you get better. And it works. The next year you come back, you're stronger. But yeah, the Fargo Dome. I mean, we're going to touch on this, but it's tough. It's tough. You get in there, it's a cavernous stuff. High ceiling. I mean, really high.
But for many years, it was kind of known as the Sioux Dome because they never lost a game in there, right?
Well, we won, 94? Well, it opened in 93, I think. So 94, 96, 98, 2000, 2002. We won 5 in a row.
No, we lost in 2000.
2000 we lost.
Yeah, but
so
it was
4-1
by a bad call, and it was like 2 points. So
Yes.
We should have won that.
Yeah, I remember
Screw
that.
job from the refs.
It was. Let's call a spade here.
But it's UND's always played well in there, but then in the D1 era came around, and it's just, I don't know, they struggled. It's been tough for them. It's like the lights were too bright. They slowed down.
Well,
They were, and those teams were really good.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're really good.
Liza
And-
teams are
2
really
years
good.
ago, I really thought that was our opportunity, and then I think Lipke broke free right away for a long touchdown run, and we just never regrouped after that.
Right.
And we made up for it last year, so
Yeah.
we'll take that. But a storyline that was huge in the offseason, one we'd never seen quite like this, and we've kind of forgot about it a little bit, but we kind of knew it was going to resurface this week. But Jake Landry, hometown guy, was the UND offensive coordinator for 2 minutes and 41 seconds, and decided to pack south and go head to Fargo.
Right.
I'm surprised more people aren't really talking about that so far this week, but yeah, talk about that.
Well, it's interesting. You know what, we're gonna have our guest that we had here, Joel SCHWENZFEIER, roommates with Landry.
Wow.
So that, I mean, that's, Joel, we're gonna.
So
touch with
the
him on
OC
that,
and the
but
DC going against each
Yeah.
other were roommates.
Yeah, no, same age.
Yeah.
Same age, so it's interesting. Yeah. It came off really poorly.
Yeah,
Yes, okay, we got it, we got that.
it did.
Was it a business decision for Jake? Yes, it was a business decision. Is it a decision other guys might have made? I think so. I do. I mean, they pay more money down there. They've won more. They have better facilities. They have more. They're a football
We're
first
catching up on
program.
facilities though. Let's just.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting close. No, we're real close there. I'm not, I
Close
shouldn't
the
say,
gap.
yeah,
Yeah.
I just added it in there as well, as of right now, it's the locker rooms and coaches, but that's gonna change here shortly, but, it was a business. I'm not mad about it anymore. At the time I was like, at the time, I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
But he made a decision that, he had a history with ISSAC. He had a history with several of those coaches. And how many guys would turn down, the NDSU offensive coordinator role when it's offered to them? There are many. Okay,
No.
when you're working your way up the ladder,
Right,
my
right,
point.
right,
So,
right.
so yeah, it's a storyline for sure because he played at UND, a 2-year starter, I believe, as a quarterback at UND. So yeah, it's definitely a talker.
Yeah, I think my last game on the sidelines, he had to come in at Grand Valley to hyperextended his knee, and Danny Freund got hurt in that game, and Landry came in with basically one leg. Gave us a shot. Yeah, it was kind of a weird game, but Cam Miller, he's played a lot of football in NDSU, and I think throughout his career, it's kind of been like, wow, he's good, and then, ooh, is he the guy? And right now, he's playing with a lot of confidence, and hard to say he's probably not the best quarterback in FCS right now.
Well, you can't really argue against it
No.
because, I mean, just looking at his stats from the last few games, I mean, he's 20 for 22 and passing completions. I mean, he's efficient, good decision maker. I mean, he is their offense. And when you have a guy like that at quarterback, I mean, you're going to have a guy in an offense that can put points on the board for sure. Because just with his veteran status, athletic ability and his efficiency, NDSU has a great offense still. And, you've heard rumblings in Fargo, we live in Fargo, we're not where we used to be, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? Cam Miller, I mean, they have every opportunity and chance with Cam Miller at quarterback.
Yeah, he's playing really well. Good kid. He was our intern at Nodak this summer.
Oh, did you get in his head a little
Golfed
bit?
with him. Yeah, golfed.
Should we text him? You got his number?
No, but he was a nice kid. Told him I would only talk about the game from October 14th, the previous year. That's it. That's all we're talking about for 18 holes.
What do you have to say about it?
yeah,
I mean,
no.
like, what can you tell? Like,
Nah, he said, I think his quote was that was a bloodbath. He
oh,
said,
yeah,
he
you
was-
guys got the best of
Yeah,
us.
he was,
Let's move on.
he was good
Yeah.
about it. He's like, yeah, that was just a bloodbath. There's not much I could have done about it. Credit
good
to him
kid.
for saying that. Oh yeah, great guy.
Good.
Great kid. Yeah, we had fun. Good golfing that day out at Mason, but he's 78% he's completing passes. Now, a lot of those, when you watch the replays, a lot of those are quick, short stuff. So, but he's making the throw, but they're decisive. It's just
Still.
bang, bang. I mean, he doesn't even think about it.
He's not a tall guy either, is he?
6'1", 6'2",
Is
maybe.
he up there?
Yeah, about 6'1", 6'2", but yeah, you know what I'm noticing this year, a lot less designed run. for him. He runs if he needs to, type of thing, but they're not running him in the quarterback power game, quarterback truck, whatever you want to call that stuff. They're not doing that much this year. They've kind of gotten away from that. This offense is different for him. It's more, I wrote my notes. This is closer to last year's UND offense in a way. Not 3 and 4 receivers, they always got a tight end, but they're not doing the 2 tight ends and a fullback and
Here we go.
yeah, and they're,
Stop us.
yeah, they're not doing that stuff because it didn't work, as well in the past few years. It worked, but it not quite as well when we face better teams, right? But so they're going to, it's more of a sprint, like 11, a lot of 11, maybe some 12 personnel. But I think they're letting him work back there, in the passing game and not running him, not making him worry about running the ball, 10 to 15 times getting hit. So yeah, it's a little different look this year. The more probably, I don't know if it's not as hard to defend, but I think you got to, you don't focus on the run. You're not like, we can't get mauled this week. That's all we've ever talked about, and you don't have to worry about, are we going to get mauled for 58 rushes? It's not that. It's not, but they're a lot more diverse downfield. So yeah, it's an interesting twist that Paul Sec and Jake put on it.
Well, and you think of the Bison offensive line, and it was always, let's go get them power. Let's just one-on-one, we're going to take care of business. But are you seeing stuff different up front with NDSU right now?
Well, it's still there. It's in their DNA. Oh yeah. If they get ahead and they sense you can't stop it, well, yeah, get ready. Because then here come the fullbacks and tight ends and everybody for sure. The plow's going to get dropped, for sure. It's in their DNA, but they're not like being as intentional about it, I guess you could say. Because
I saw them a lot more RPO, shotgun RPO, where they're making decisions based on your defensive front, rather than just,
hey, you're lined up that way, we don't care.
You have to try to stop it.
Yeah.
Right. So now they're trying to scheme the defense a little bit more. In the games that I watched and took a look at here so far this season, they're scheming the defense in a much different way. Maybe not much different, but they're actually scheming the defense instead of just, yep, we're coming at you. Go ahead and stop us. Otherwise, we're just going to do our thing.
What I noticed too is more zone blocking, because you can tell in the past it was the A power gap scheme, the little stuff right in the inside, and then it was the pin and pull. And the pin and pull, UND got beat by it. Everybody got beat by it. It's hard to stop. But UND learned how to stop it after 15 or 18 or whatever we played them. To where last year they didn't pin and pull once all game, but they did every other game. So it was like it wasn't working versus UND, so they got rid of that. Well, this year there's hardly any pin and pull. They kind of got rid of that, and it's just more zone. So more like UND, more of a zone blocking. So just interesting. I think Polsek, his time in Iowa's a zone blocking team. I think he got influenced by that. It's just kind of got more away from what they used to do, but it's there. He coached here. He was the offense coordinator in 16. So he knows they got all that in the package. If they want to go back to mauling you and running A gap, they'll do it.
So would you say this is more favorable for our defense this year? This different but similar look Bison offense?
I think it's easier to play football, just general football against them instead of worrying about, I hope we don't get
Do we have enough horses to keep up with them?
Right up front. Between, are we going to get mauled or is it going to get away from us and demoralize? I mean, Matt, how that is when you can't stop a team. The worst feeling in the world when you're demoralized.
Right. And in years past too, when the NDSU had really their top tier teams in the last 5-10 years, it just seemed like we were just a little bit slower, a little bit smaller. I mean, it just seemed like they were just now. We have players that are pretty equal on both sides of the football this week. So now I think the programs are generally more equal. I mean, like in general. So I think that not necessarily worried about any aspect of the game or what the offense is going to do. We just have to line up and play football, like Kelly said.
Well, there's going to be more wrinkles. Every team this year is throwing a wrinkle, and we haven't adjusted real quickly to the blocking schemes and stuff like that. So yeah, that's coming. And stuff like that. So it'll be, but how quick? We can't take quarter and a half.
No,
You can't do it. You
no,
know what I mean? You're in
no,
the wrong building
especially
for
that
that,
building.
so.
Let's offensively right now, we're playing at a high level and it's good to see. Would you say our offense is a favorable matchup on paper right now with this NDSU defense? And the thing I hear is they're not as sound tacklers this year as we've seen in the past.
Last year they struggled. Yeah, last year they struggled. This year they're probably a little better, it seems like, but I don't know. They had trouble early. I know in those first few games, it didn't look very good, like they were better, but yeah, they're good. Their
They're
defensive
still
line,
good. Their front four is still,
defensive line really
they're
good.
still big, they're still strong, and they rely on those, for their defense, they rely on those front four to get into the backfield. They don't send a lot of pressure. They don't, they'll send 5, but they're relying on that front four to really be their defense and get into the backfield and get their sacks for them.
So when you look at the stats too, scoring offense, NDSU's 8th, we're 10th in the country. Rushing offense, they're 10th, we're 9th. So I mean, very similar offenses, going against each other, and it's just who I think we're a little bit more, usually it's them, they're a little bit more intentional. I think we're a little bit more intentional this year about what we want to do versus they're a little more creative. It seems like that. So it'll be interesting to see.
If you were drawing plays in the sand, how do you attack this defense, Kelly?
Well, what was the plan? Don't drop back and don't drop back. Run between the gap.
Quick passes, between
the guards,
right,
and quick passes into the flats. I think is what it always was. It's always quick. Everything quick. Or if you would go deep, it's the 3-step fade type thing. Quick one-on-one ball, that type of stuff. And you just can't drop back because those 4D line just want to tee off, and they'll get there eventually.
They will, and you've seen it against every team that NDSU's played so far this year, that they get into the backfield eventually. So
would you say for us to win this game, Simon Rumpfo's arm is going to be a factor? And if it's not, we don't win this game.
It's got to be deep. Yeah, it's got to be. And I'm fine.
And you're thinking we got to go deep?
He was 12 for 24 last game, but he's hitting the long ball. And I said that way. We said to Coach Frick, well, it's weird because he's when he brought up that he's getting on his toes and bouncing throws. Okay, so that's a form deal, whatever you want to call it, mechanics. But he's hitting long passes. The long balls are on, and they're looking really good. So
that's kind of what the fans were saying. Does he have an arm? Can he throw the deep ball? Can he stretch the field?
Looking pretty good. But the thing is, against NDSU, you don't throw a lot of long passes. That's what the whole purpose of the have to do. They're sitting deep. They're sitting with, typically, if they sit in it, it's 4 deep. And so you're running underneath stuff and you're taking your chances one-on-one, maybe down the sideline or, that type of thing. So, yeah, it'll be, when I'm looking at my notes here, Bo, you want to get them ISO'd up. ISO'd up, they don't have a corner that can cover them. I don't know if there are many corners that can cover them, but Sawyer Seidell's back. So Sawyer Seidell versus their linebackers. That's a big win for us. I mean, that's not fair.
Would you try throwing it more to the flats, get them quick swing passes with that?
Or arrow roads or something.
Pitch toss maybe, get them out.
Where it's one-on-one or something like that, and to where you have a blocker or two. But it's isolated, anything that you can do to try to get him the ball to where it's not him versus a safety or not him versus a corner. You want him against those linebackers is an ideal situation because they're big guys. They're good players, but they're bigger. And they're not as fast as Sawyer Seidell. Obviously, there are not many people are, but yeah, it's inside zone. And then Simon. I want to say run it, but you can't run it. They hit. And if you hit, they'll hit you. And if we run him too much, he's gonna get hit. He's gonna take a hit, and I'll take one, and he's out. And we're down to a freshman.
And the mind works a little different when you're beat up, right?
Right. Yeah. So
as the game goes on, the decisions might not be as great. So.
I think he'll run. I think Simon will run on his own, but I don't see other than maybe once or twice now, maybe calling a design run.
I don't think so. I think it's too costly for us to actually, and we have the running backs to be able to rely on. It's a different story if, like, gosh, our quarterback is the best running back we have. We're not in that situation, but I have confidence in Simon that saying that, well, when he should run, he does, and he could do it some more sometimes in some of the games that we've seen. But I don't see it as a design play where, Simon's gonna get the ball in an RPO shotgun fashion and then just take off on it.
The NFL, two teams evenly matched, usually give the home team 3 points. What's the Fargo Dome factor this week? I mean,
This is usually what,
in
6 or
in
7.
D1, I think in the D1 era, you could say 7 to 10, you know, at
Right.
least,
Oh,
you know,
Yep.
for us,
Yep. So I
maybe
think-
even 14.
Yeah, it
You know,
it
but
hasn't been kind.
it's
gone.
it's closer now, right? You think?
We hope so. You know how they're gonna come out, but this team seems different.
Yeah,
Like I said, you know.
we've talked about it, you know, the mental toughness, the preparation, the how they respond mid-game. They're instead of halftime adjustments, we're making adjustments in the first quarter and the beginning of the second quarter, and we're changing and we're deciding to play differently earlier on. So all of those different factors, I think we have a mixture that's gonna come into the game where some of those Fargo Dome factors might not play as big a role as they have in the past.
Now for the fun part, the prediction segment. And because the defensive coordinator is still here, I'm gonna say 42-0 UND. And that's in the first quarter. No, unfortunately, I think we'll give up a few points.
Yeah.
I think this is gonna be a higher scoring game. I don't know why, but I say 42-34 UND.
Ooh.
I like my first score better,
Fireworks.
42-0, but
There we go. We're only scoring 42 this week.
yeah,
All right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I heard
Kind of a letdown from 72, but you know.
Yeah. We're playing the JV this week, so you know we can't go too hard on it. I'm gonna get in trouble from the UND coaching staff if I keep this up, but it's NDSU UND. This is our job, right?
Right,
As fans, we're supposed to talk it up. Like you said, there's no love, right?
Nope.
There's no respect for each other as a fan base, right? We'll leave that for the players. What are you guys thinking?
Ooh, you want to go early? Well, certainly a good matchup. I think looking at the years past, we should have had one going into the Fargo Dome. We probably should have won that game, but you know, we got that deer in the headlights syndrome that's happened a few times. This year, I feel like it's a different story. I think we've responded mentally differently this year to adversity. I think that's not going to be a factor. Last year, we know that what happened last year coming into this game, they're a beatable team. Just how our offense and defensive match up. I'm saying we win this game, but it's going to be close. Three points in the 20s, 28, 24. It's going to go back and forth. I think, you know, don't be surprised if we're down a score or two at halftime, but then knowing how our team responds, we're going to button down the hatches and I think we're going to get after it and come away with and squeak out the win.
Okay, Kelly.
I mean, yeah, I gotta tell you one too. I mean, it's gonna be, we'll look better. I would be shocked if we don't look better than we did the last several times we've stepped into that building. So, yeah, I mean, I wrote down 31-29. I mean, 31-29 UND.
Good guys.
Nice game, yeah, UND wins it, and you know, I don't see why they can't. You know, it's gonna take 3 phases. It's gonna take a lot.
Mistake-free football.
I'm not
as
saying
always.
they're gonna walk in there and just, you know, 31-29. No, it's gonna take something cool. You know, we're gonna have to do some neat things and special teams, you know,
I'll
something.
take a pick six. Wouldn't that be
Right?
good?
Well,
I-
we blocked,
I
we
will
blocked
back
a
out.
punt last year, you know, that type of thing. You know,
Or a fumble scoop for a
Yeah.
touchdown.
You know,
I wrote in my notes too, their offense, I mean, I think our corners have an opportunity, our outside backers, I think have an opportunity, you know, in the way they're playing, I think, you know, the way they throw a quick ball, there might be some tip balls, with their quick outs, from players. So, we've been doing a good job.
I'd be practicing the tip drill. I don't know
All
if
week,
anyone's
tip drill all
listening,
week.
but I
And
do the tip
Coach
drill.
is laughing, so we might be,
That's a
onto
great
something,
football
I don't
take
know.
right there. All right, well, hey, it's been a fun week and we still got more time to have, as fans, have fun with it because it really is a fun game where you can really say whatever you want. And they're going to come back at you and say whatever they want. And at the end of the day, let's just go to the Fargo Dome and enjoy a great football game.
Absolutely.
It's one of the longest running traditions in college football. So let's enjoy it. Should be a fun one. 2:30 Saturday, the Fargo Dome, UND at NDSU. Want to thank our sponsors, American Solutions for Business, Tank McNamara, Interstate Industrial, Marty, Shaide, out in the Bakken oil fields, steam cleaning and painting. Huge UND football supporter and a big supporter of this show. The 1883 Collective, the NIL arm for UND athletics. Let's say if we win on Saturday, we all double our donations to the NIL and keep the guys around. Toasted Frog, fine dining in downtown Grand Forks and Fargo. Great place to go celebrate a UND win in Fargo on Saturday night downtown. I can't think of a better place to go in Fargo. Kelly Howe Agency, Nodak Insurance, offering free quotes again this week. That guy, I don't know how he does it, how he stays in business, but
can't give away free.
Development Homes Inc., gaming, simulcast horse racing, Pulltabs, Blackjack, Big Wheel. You can find them at Rumors Sports Bar and Grill in Grand Forks. Don't forget about the $1,000 bingo giveaway jackpots every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. No minimum amount of people. That's the key. Because not a lot of people, your chances of winning that 1,000 is great. Right. And then our main show sponsor, Rumors Sports Bar, Grill and Casino, Billy. Wow, what a great host today. And this was a lot of fun to come up to Rumors. And now that we know how to do it, guys, let's not be strangers.
Right.
Because if you're a guy like me that gets thirsty fast, these 32-ounce beers, they're just what you need, right?
Hit the spot.
We worked hard all week. We deserve it.
That's right.
And you think there's only one spot in town to get a grinder. There's two.
Yep.
Rumors.
We had them for lunch there.
Yeah, we all had it for lunch. They've got the express lunch, $7 menus, cheeseburgers, soft shell tacos, chicken strips, French strip, crispy chicken salad. They've got it all. And where can you find a $7 lunch? Where can you find a better place if you're not tailgating to get ready for a UND football game? Where can you find a $5 ride to the game and a free drink afterwards?
There you go.
And where can you find a better place to post game? We used to call it, when I worked with Ed, we call it the debrief. Have a couple cool ones, talk about the game. Rumors is the place to be. So it should be a fun one. Thanks so much for joining us. Saturday, 2:30, NDSU week. UND takes on NDSU at the Fargo Dome. Again, thanks to Rumors Sports Bar, Grill and Casino for having us. Enjoy the game, and we can't wait to talk about this one next week.